So I know I've talked about it a bit on the podcast, and I know I've talked about it on stream as well, but this is me essentially officially saying I'm going to be covering Artifact. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing Legends. In fact, I'm still posting a ton of stuff for it, but as we get closer to Artifact's release, which we expect to be sometime this year based on the teaser trailer we got last year, and as news starts to come out, I do plan on creating short update videos and things like that, and then when the game does launch, whether that is in a beta of some sort or full release, I do plan on making some gameplay videos covering that as well. So if you're not familiar, Artifact is the next game from Valve. So Valve does things like Dota 2 and CSGO. Artifact is going to be a card game that is based on the Dota universe, and there's not a ton that we know right now. Some people have had the opportunity to play it, specifically some of the pro Dota players. There is a playable version at Valve offices, but they've clearly signed NDAs, and so they can only say what they feel about the game, but they can't provide any specifics. So a lot of people will just say, like, I'm really excited. One person in a video that I saw, he specifically said that he doesn't like card games, doesn't really have any interest in Hearthstone, doesn't have any interest in Gwent, but he thoroughly enjoyed Artifact when he played it, and he said specifically if you like Dota, then you will like this card game, or you will likely like this card game, which I find really interesting and refreshing. One of the reasons I'm attracted to this card game without knowing anything about it is that I love playing MOBAs. I've played Dota, played lots of League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm. Long before I was streaming Legends, I actually streamed some of those things as well. So kind of taking things that I enjoy, right, MOBAs and card games, and mashing them together does pique my interest. So if you're not familiar, Dota is actually based on an old Warcraft 3 mod called Defense of the Ancients. That's what the acronym Dota stands for, before it eventually, became Dota 2 and became the game that it is on Steam. It's very, very big in the international community. Some numbers have been run, and it's the most played game on Steam. Has a massive amount of tournament support and big presence in esports. So anything that's going to be using that IP and produced by Valve is naturally going to generate some excitement and hype. Yeah, other things we know about the game. So while we haven't had a lot talked about, we do know that the game will feature 3 boards or 3 lanes. Those 2 words seem to be used interchangeably. It sounds to me like it might just be like 3 different zones of play when you play the game. So if you're used to playing Test Legends and we have the 2 lanes, it's going to be like that, but with 3. This is again kind of trying to mimic the Dota 2 gameplay, or just Dota gameplay, where that game traditionally also has 3 lanes. Now, there will be heroes in this game. So normally in a game of Dota, there are teams of 5. The rumor is that you will play 5 heroes when you play this game. And then just like in Dota, you will equip items to the heroes throughout the course of the game, and you will do so likely through gold. So in Dota, when you kill certain things called creeps, it's a slang term, then you get gold that you can use to make your heroes better. Now, again, we know that gold will be in this, and we know that items will be in this. That's likely going to be the resource system. It's interesting to me because we don't know for certain. That's just like a speculation. We know gold will be in it, but it's speculation that that's the resource system, because games like Magic and Hearthstone and Legends just have the incrementing resource system, and this in a game of Dota you just start with your heroes. So I'm kind of curious if similarly in the card game you will start with your heroes and then through actions taken earn gold, and that's how you improve them. I'm very intrigued by how the cards are going to play out, and we do know that there are going to be things like spells and things like that you can play on different lanes to impact the flow of the game, but again, we don't really know a ton. beyond that. So those are what we know for sure. I'm also really curious to see how this compares to traditional card games in terms of like deck archetypes, right? Like when you think about, again, Magic, Hearthstone, Legends, you know, we think of like aggro, mid-range, control, combo decks, ramp decks. There's all these very iconic deck themes and archetypes that kind of span the different games because they have such similar play mechanics, and this is such a departure from that I'm really curious to see how things are balanced, how the archetypes develop for a game like this, whether or not this is a very snowbally game or if there are comeback mechanics. I'm just really thoroughly intrigued at how they're going to take something like all of the core concepts from a MOBA, excuse me, and put it into a card game. So those are essentially what we know. There's a lot of stuff that we could speculate on, right? Everything Valve does has like esports involved, so we could probably naturally assume there will be esports involved with this. You know, other games like CSGO, for example, utilize the Steam marketplace. We don't know if this is a collectible card game, trading card game, living card game yet or not. But I would be shocked if there wasn't something tradable in the marketplace. Now, whether or not that is cosmetic stuff like skins, card backs, alternate game boards, announcer packs, or cards themselves. One of the interesting things that is kind of floating back and forth is the idea of whether or not there will be card packs in this, or whether or not you'll get all of the cards up front, or if there will be some hybrid, because in Dota the game, you always have access to all of the heroes. They come out with a new hero, you don't have to purchase it like in League of Legends, you just have access to the new hero. And then if you want cosmetics or things like that, then you have to pay for those. So for this card game, again, this has not been solidified, right? There are some people who say, you know, hey, we're going to get all the cards because, you know, in Dota and in CSGO and other Valve games, you always get access to everything that's competitive. Then there are the people that say, well, you know, it's likely going to be a trading card game, which means you'll have to open packs, because otherwise if everyone has everything, there's nothing to trade. Some people think the trading will be cosmetics. I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere in between. I could see an instance where they give you access to all of the heroes, because those are likely going to be separate from your traditional cards, because you'll start with your team of heroes. And then maybe the card packs you open are just all of the other things. So that might be items or those, you know, spells that you're playing to affect the game board or things like that, right? So maybe they give you the core heroes and then you get other cards to build your deck around those heroes. Who knows? Again, it's all speculative at this point. So anyway, I do plan on covering Artifact, so this was mostly me just saying, don't be surprised if they start popping up as news comes out, videos I mean, and I've created a spot in the Discord that I run that's specific for Artifact, so people can talk about Artifact there as well. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I look forward to making more Artifact videos.